Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video is a tag video. I was tagged by my brother over at the Fragrance Fraternity. Thank you for the shout out. And this topic is going to be the DENT Don't Lie. I believe the tag was started by Razor Ramon the barber, and the DENT Don't Lie I've associated with my brother Goldie Smellgood. One of his common tag phrase, one of his common catchphrases there is the DENT don't lie, and it never did. So this is actually going to be a part 2. I posted a most worn fragrances video a little while ago actually. I'll link that one in the description down below. You can check that one out. Those 10 fragrances are still holding the placeholder for my most worn, I would say. So this is going to be a part 2. I've got about 10 or 11 fragrances here with a pretty sizable dent that I wanted to share with you all. Starting off with the first one here. This is going to be Guerlain Guerlain L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Toilette. Really nice, beautiful cacao and lemon fragrance. Nice powdery kind of touch, a really good cedar, sort of woody tone to it as well, and just a beautiful combination of notes that plays very well in the cold weather. The lemon lends itself really well to transitional periods during that early part of the autumn, but I think the cacao works great in the winter time as well. Next one here, a little bit over a halfway dent in the bottle. We've got Lempicka Homme from Lolita Lempicka. It's a really nice, beautiful, dark, vanilla gourmand fragrance with a heavy emphasis on star anise and black licorice. Really unique in terms of scent profile with that anise and black licorice. I believe there's an older formulation of this one that people say is a little bit better, but I think this one's great as is. Perfumed by Annick Minardo, really great stuff. Next one here, we have the original Nuit de L'Homme. You can see, I'll just flip it around there. Shows a little bit more to the extent to the dent. The juice color is darkened quite a bit over time. It's macerated pretty nicely. I think it wears pretty potently. I've had this one for a pretty long time. One of the earliest editions in my collection. Picked it up back around when Jeremy Fragrance was really hyping things up. Forgive me, I'm a little bit winded right now. Just got back from the gym if I'm breathing somewhat heavily. Okay, so the next one is another about halfway or so mark. I don't know if you can see the dent from back there, but this is Halloween Man X. This is actually my second bottle. I wore through about a third of my first one, and my dad said he liked it a lot, so I gifted him my first bottle. So I've probably gone through about a whole bottle of Halloween Man X at this point. Really beautiful kind of Versace Eros DNA with a coffee twist. Excellent stuff, and one of the best cheapies on the market in my opinion, especially for the fall and winter season. Okay, next, this is Lalique Hommage à L'Homme. This is a really very unique fragrance. It was a personal signature of mine before I really grew my collection size. I do have a backup bottle, luckily. It's been recently discontinued. This has a really nice musky oud sort of base, like one of those fresh oud fragrances that you would be acquainted with from maybe like the Meisenser line from Alberto Marias, but this is built around a very velvety, rich violet leaf note. So that violet offers itself to a really silky, velvety texture with a somewhat dark quality from the oud wood that's in there. That's very subtle. It doesn't really come off barnyardy or detectable as oud, but it adds a very rich, regal, sophisticated smelling woody texture to the composition, and then the musk in there really helps brighten it up. There's some black pepper. Really awesome stuff. A little bit soft on projection and longevity, but I absolutely adore it and was a signature scent of mine for a reason. Sticking with the house of Lalique, this is L'Insoumis. Good about halfway dent in that bottle as well. This is a very unique kind of neo-fougere. You've got that barbershop style appeal, but it makes it more modern with a rum note that brings it into a more contemporary perfumery with that alcoholic accord, and then there's also a unique basil note in there that really kind of adds a certain unique green touch to it. Perfect for transitional seasons like fall and spring, going into those misty, foggy sort of atmospheres. And finally, a third one from the House of Lalique. This is Encre Noire à l'Extrême, right about a halfway mark on the dent there. Kind of needs no introduction, one of the most hyped cheapies in the game right now. Beautiful vetiver note, kind of keeping it dark and inky, but this one takes it out of that utter darkness that the original Encre Noire is known for, and kind of sweetens it up with a little bit of some resinous smoke, sort of ambery style sweetness that almost lends itself almost a bit boozy the way that it comes off. Really, really delicious and cozy fragrance for the fall and winter time, with a regal dressed up appeal to it as well. Okay, next one, discontinued sadly, but this is Mugler's Pure Malt. I'm about halfway through that bottle right now. DENT's right about there. I'm hoping I can maybe find a backup bottle on a Facebook group for a decent price sometime soon. Wore this one this week in my weekly fragrance rotation. Really beautiful, kind of malty offering with a unique sort of fruity accent to it that makes it playful, but it keeps in a very dark masculine frame with the way that the rest of the composition is built around that classic Mugler DNA. Really awesome stuff. Sad to see it go. I still have yet to try Starband Nebula, but I'm looking forward to trying that one out if it's anything close to the original. Okay, next we have Molecule 01. This is the ISO-E Super Fragrance. I'm probably going to be buying clones or eBay offerings of these Perfumer's Molecule moving forward, as this one runs anywhere between like 70 and 100 depending on where you pick it up at. But this one I've obviously used quite a bit of because it's for layering and it helps the projection of fragrances like Dolce&Gabanna's The One. Probably could have included this one in this list as well. I'm actually just going to throw that one up there. Really nice, about halfway mark dent in that, as well as the Eau de Toilette version. So have pretty enjoyed the Dolce&Gabanna's The One DNA and have layered it quite a bit with this ISO-E Super Molecule 01. Okay, I think we only have 2 fragrances left here for the DENT display. Here we've got the original Prada L'Homme. Again, no introduction really needed. A beautiful soapy neroli and iris, perfect for the office occasions. It's a little bit thick and sweet for me anymore now that I've tried this one, Infusion to Iris Cedry. This is my go-to Prada for soapy clean, but this one is still really great and I think probably a little bit more mass appealing. Obviously, I've enjoyed it quite a bit, and this is actually one of my wife's favorite fragrances on me. She really only cares about, like, for 5 out of my entire collection of 500, and that's one of them. So I'm going to be keeping it in the rotation nonetheless. And then finally, the last one I wanted to share here was this 75 ml bottle of Rochas Man, which I've gone through about 3/4, maybe a half to 3/4 of that bottle. And obviously it's a tried and true DNA, beautiful sort of patchouli-centric fragrance with a little bit of rose in there and some sweet ambers. And a little bit of spicy nuances from, I believe, some pink pepper. Recently did pick up the original Tuxedo, so I've been wearing this one. My wife says on a blind sniff between these two, not knowing which one it was, that this one smelled a little bit more classy. May not be everyone's reaction to that one, but still I'll probably be getting some more wares out of that one. I do, as you can see, have many of these dents are out of cheapy fragrance bottles, so I do love the freedom that comes with spraying them so liberally because of the ease of conscience that they have with replacing them for a cheap price. So that was my Dent Don't Lie Part 2, second most worn fragrances. Again, I'll link the video where I discussed my top 10 most worn, and if you're not going to go and check that one out, however, I will disclose that my most worn fragrance to date is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. This is actually my second bottle, so I've already gone through nearly 200 mLs of that fragrance. Really beautiful stuff. Cherry and leather are the main notes that I get out of that one. Incredible combination and a unique scent profile for a man that I haven't really picked up in anything else, and one of my favorites for February transitioning into the spring. The cherry in there kind of gives me a little bit of a cherry blossom vibe that reminds me of those beautiful scenes you see out of Japan often. So I decided to go with sort of a Joy Amin, Rich Mitch style video here where it's just my desk and collection. Just wanted to put an emphasis on showing the actual dents in the bottles here and give focus to them. And since this was a tag video, I'm going to leave it an open tag for whatever content creators are watching. I am going to go ahead and tag 2 people though. I'm going to tag Dr. Magnificent. Caught up with you on Mikey's I Smell live stream last night, so hopefully you catch up with this one, and would love to see where your dents are at in your collection. And second, the other content creator I would like to tag is Ryan over at Grown Man Style. I've been keeping up in touch with you over the phone, but would love to see you have a bit of a comeback to the fragrance community scene, so I'm going to tag you in this one as well. Really looking forward to seeing some content from you again, brother. So those are my second most worn fragrances in my collection and the people that I'm tagging for this tag. Thanks again to Razor Ramon the Barber for starting us off, and to Goldie Smell Good for tagging the Dent Don't Lie and It Never Did catchphrase. So as always, I really appreciate y'all sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.